From the top rope, this is the Squared Circus.
Square! Ah! That's the cult phenomenon.
You know what I think?
Recording in progress.
I realize I like paint.
That was a botch. Hold on.
So, anyway, that's how it's gonna go.
So, hey, ho, ha, ha.
So, we weren't even going to do this one, but because of the whole Andrade and the Sammy thing, I was kind of getting pissed off.
Yeah, this was like Richie and I are just chatting, and he's like, I'm really pissed off. And I was like, what about? Oh, you mean about this thing? All right.
This
Want to vent about it?
Oh my God. AEW can't get their shit together and it's looking terrible. Even if it's work or shoot, there is no win game. Their backstage looks terrible. They just all can't shut the fuck up. And even someone said that, I think Ricky Starks had a tweet. He actually messaged me. He goes, "Can't my people just shut the fuck up?" Like, it just, so by him saying that, I don't know if it's a baby face, this and that, whatever, there's no end game. The fact that you guys look ridiculous.
Let's start. Let's back up. Let's start at the beginning of this whole thing. You know more about it than I do.
Okay, so the beginning, how it personally I read it that started is that Sammy went in and complained to people that he got hit too hard by Andrade.
Right.
So, and that's what he did. He did, and then
Andrade said something.
Yeah. He said no. Andrade asked him, "Do you have any problems with me face to face?" And he said nothing. But then all of a sudden, he was still talking shit. And then this is from what I heard, and then he tweeted. So like, he pretty much tweeted, "You're a jobber, a favor hire, be grateful, bitch." Andrade said back, "I said it to your face. If you had a problem with me," he said, "Nothing. I won't beat your ass because I'm professional. Don't be scared. When I say something, I name names, and I'm not scared to get fired." And it just kept on going and going, like, and then after that, I'll just read exactly, like, so far what I'm knowing is Sammy then said, "You didn't say shit to me, you liar, but here's some truth, you ungrateful prick. You would be jobless if it wasn't for your dad-in-law. Are you really mad or at me or mad at yourself for failing to get over for a second time?" Which, that's kind of funny. Just go back to WWE like we all know you want to do and fuck off. And then Andrade said, "Oh, I'm a liar. See you on Wednesday. I'll tell you to your face again. And nothing you say that you do not have a problem." And then Ricky Starks comes in like, "Can't my fellow coworkers just not shut the fuck up?" Even if it's work or not, I'm sure there's more shit. I'm sure it's not work. It's a shoot, but they'll make it into a work.
But he did say, "I'll see you Wednesday," which makes it sound work-ish, though.
It makes it sound Wednesday, or it makes it sound like because he's always on Wednesday. I mean, Andrade always comes on Wednesdays for his 20
true.
seconds, like, which has got to be annoying to fly out just for 20 seconds. But the thing is, though, is even if it's a work, it just pisses me off because they are fucking. We just read the news that they're having trouble with sales. We just got over all this bullshit in the backstage anyway, and it's multiple people doing this. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool. We actually had nothing. We had said, oh, this was actually a decent Friday. There's no bullshit. Then here's bullshit. Like, it just doesn't quit. And eventually people are going to be like, my God, you guys look ridiculous. This is probably why the sales aren't there, why they're declining.
It's very possible. I mean, it does kind of start, it is starting to feel like more and more like they just don't have their shit together. It just feels like it's a sinking ship. And even if this is a work, why feed into that perception? It's also one of those things where, like, nobody really looks great. I don't think Sammy looks great. I don't think Andrade looks great. I mean, it sounds like
Ricky Starks did.
Ricky Starks looked great. But between the two guys who are the main, feuding pair, sometimes you got to take the high ground on this. And even if Sammy said something to somebody else about Andrade working stiff, well, maybe he should have said something to Andrade, but maybe Andrade should take that criticism more seriously instead of just brushing it off at the same time. Like, I don't think anybody did the right thing. And then Sammy calling him out on Twitter. Well, I guess Andrade, did he say something in an interview? I guess he said something in an interview where like he's never not gotten along with his coworkers except for Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
And I guess Sammy's response was that tweet, but there's something about a tweet that's just almost passive aggressive.
It's
blowing it up to the whole world. I don't know, man. I don't do Twitter. You don't do Twitter. I think a lot of the reason is because of this. It's just like, it just breeds toxic behavior, I think, you know?
It really does. And also too, don't forget Sammy just came out of being suspended because of the shit that they had with Eddie Kingston. So
Yeah.
And even though Eddie Kingston took full responsibility, it just seems kind of weird that Sammy this is actually multiple. There's actually other people I heard in the past that they had issues with him. He became like the.
Yeah, no, finish.
No, it seems like a lot of people just thought of him as a more of a cocky person now, and he's just like, he's very hard to work with. And it just seems like as these things that come along, I myself, I could be totally wrong. I have never heard anyone have that much difficult time working with Andrade. I don't remember anyone's talking bad about him. I could be wrong. Because I don't read every single thing.
My friend, are never wrong.
Thank you.
But I heard it now.
But have you heard anything of anyone really?
I haven't heard anything. I feel like I have a vague memory of something. I'll have to look it up. Maybe you can look it up real quick while I fill the time.
Yes, because we fact check here now.
Yeah, you fact check in real time.
In real time, because we are professionals. Go ahead.
You know, like what you said about Sammy, like after a while, it stops feeling like a coincidence, right? The thing happened with Eddie. You hear one or two things. Maybe it's just, circumstantial, but how many times is somebody involved with somebody else in this kind of way, in a negative way that's causing problems before you say, maybe it's that person, Everybody knows somebody like that, where they just like, oh, this person seems so nice. And then they have the story about this thing that happened. And you're like, oh, well, that sucks that happened to you. And then like 2 months later, they have another story about something that happened. You're like, oh, that sucks that happened to you. And eventually like, maybe it's you. This stuff keeps happening to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anybody who has like calamity befall them so regularly, who is like wronged by people on such a regular basis. Maybe you need to think about what your contribution is to this,
Well, that's my whole issue with Punk. But anyway, that's besides the point. But so as I fact checked,
yes,
for the past 10 pages, apparently he has beef with Sammy. so that's
it. That was the only one, huh?
That's all I'm reading. That's every single article now of pretty much of just going by it's everywhere now of him against Sammy. But which is, again, it's not a good look. If it's work,
no,
it's still not a good look. They're not even on the card. They're not even on the card this Wednesday.
Yeah.
So when you say see you on Wednesday, I could understand it being like some kind of work for a match or them talking whatever. This is out of the blue. They weren't even supposed to be connected. Like anyway.
Maybe there will be, but I think for me, a lot of it, and what makes it feel more like, if I had to pick sides on this, I think I'd pick Andrade's side. A, because I don't know of a history of him having issues. B, what we just talked about with Sammy, like, once is like too bad. Twice or more, it's not a coincidence. It's probably have something to do with it. But also, like, the tone of it, like, Andrade maybe didn't handle it the best, but like, he wasn't calling names, right? Sammy's like, you're a jobber, you're a what do you call him? Some kind of a
selfish bitch or something like that, or ungrateful bitch.
No, he said you're some kind of a hire. I deleted.
Oh, he said that the only reason why you got a job is because you're a father-in-law.
And then that's like, right. I don't know, Andrade.
It just seems like childish jabs. Like, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like a cool promo. It just seems like, okay, fuck you. Like, like.
Yeah.
When you're actually pissed off, like it seems like when you're actually pissed off, it doesn't seem like anything that you could actually, because when you're not, if it was work, you would probably come up with something more clever. To me, this sounds like he was lashing out right at the moment, and this was the first thing he thought of and said, you know.
Yeah, you're a favor hire. That was the phrase I was looking for. You're a jobber, a favor hire. I don't know who the favor. Who are they doing a favor for by hiring him? I don't understand. And then be
Yeah, I'm not
grateful,
understanding that.
bitch. Like, you know,
Which the word bitch itself has to go away.
yeah, I'm done with every wrestler calling another wrestler a bitch. But like, Andrade he's a really good wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he hasn't gotten over, I think, partially because, you know, AEW hasn't known how to use him. And I'm not a huge fan of his, but like, you know, his matches in NXT were really good. And he was well known prior to that, even though I wasn't that familiar with him. I didn't really see him much before NXT, but like he has a long career that is pretty well regarded. So to make it sound like he's a charity case, that sounds like Sammy's really desperately trying to attack him, you know, or maybe it is a work and you're just, I don't know, going for that low blow, like being a heel. And he is, and you know, maybe a lot of this is just him being a heel. Maybe the feud is a work, but you know, his persona online is still a heel. Either way, you know, I mean, I don't know, taking those low blows, and especially stuff that's just like very clearly refutable, like you're a jobber. The only reason you were hired is as a favor.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason that you have any job at all is because of your father-in-law. Like he had a long career before he was married to Charlotte. You know, his father-in-law had almost nothing to do with his career.
Yeah. Few things, and I know we touched it on because like we're tired of the word bitch, but I like a side note that really has to go away. Like it is just so old, and it just I don't know. I cringe every time someone says that word to anyone there, and they seem like they do it a lot. And most it's like, come on now, we're not in the 80s, 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
You know, like it just get over with. Be done with the word. But
no, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of things they just need to move on with, and
but
that's one of those
jobber,
things where it's like, bitch is just such a cheap. They just like usually when they're using it. It feels like they've run out of things to say, or they're not getting the, you know, the heat from the crowd. So they're going to throw a bitch on the end of this. I'll see you next week, bitch.
Yeah, it's
gonna stop.
Well, yeah. To me, I feel like it's overdone, and especially too, and not that is, especially too that with all how they're supposed to create this environment there, how they have a very versatile bunch of people. You just think that's like you can't come up with a better word.
Yeah,
I mean it's just not to me. I just feel like it's disgusting to still use that and thinking that it's supposed to be a harmful word. It's really not.
I agree.
But anyway, I'm sorry, that was a different rant. But also
I do want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing about Andrade though that I want to say. I do think there's a little bit of like him being public about wanting to go to wanting to go back to WWE is a little low class. And I can understand why somebody like Sammy might be offended by that and want to take issue with it. Yeah. I'm just trying to understand both sides here. And to me, it's like that could be kind of an insult to your career. Like I was here from the beginning. I've put my body on the line month after month for 3 years, you know, for this promotion, and for you to come in 2 or more years into me already being here and kind of diminish it like that, that I can see that being pretty insulting and rubbing somebody the wrong way. So like, but I do understand Sammy for that.
I understand that aspect, but at the same time, I heard is that this all started because he complained that he hit too hard. He got hit too hard. So, and then like, so it, like to me, I'm thinking like it started off something else and then it ended somewhere else. I agree with Ricky Starks that my God, Tony Khan has to say, you know what? All you guys have to shut the fuck up Just
Well,
shut
yeah.
the can we have one fucking month that we don't have any bullshit? Just
Yeah.
fucking just shut the fuck up. Let's try to play nice. We have networks coming along. They have the Ring of Honor that they're trying to do. Just
Yeah.
fucking play nice for 1 month. We can't even get that.
And so,
'Cause
like, what you know, that's a good point. You said is Tony Khan partially responsible for this? What's his duty? Should he intervene?
Tony Khan should.
I mean, to
I-
what
'cause-
degree does your boss have to be involved with your Twitter beefs with your coworkers? You know,
Yes.
I mean, that's
I
a
thi-
tough one to me. Maybe you sit them down. I don't think Tony's tweeted anything, which is probably smart.
I think Khan needs to keep on having meetings because he needs to be like he needs to control his people.
God.
And if you see anything getting out of the control, you should just nip it in the butt. Or you should say, you know what? Now you're still under contract. You guys are suspended from your goddamn social media because because he can't think that this is good. He can't think that this is good publicity. I mean, after all the shit he's done and the ratings and all this and the ticket sales, you can't possibly tell me that this is okay. This is going to be a good idea. We should have other people and we'll just make it look like we have no fucking clue what we're doing. That's not how you're going to get people.
No, I mean, we might get people for like one episode, like, oh, is Andrade and Sammy going to be on this episode? Let's tune in. And then, the heat from that dies down real quick. And like, yeah, this promotion's a
So-
joke. Move on.
This week,
Are there any Seinfeld reruns on?
this week is Jericho and Sammy versus Brian and Garcia, which has nothing to do with Andrade.
No.
Nothing. So this, I don't know. When he says that he'll see you next Wednesday, he probably means that he's going to do his 20-second promo and then maybe see him in the backstage. But because seriously, Andrade, I don't think he wrestled in fucking God knows how long, so he might be hurt.
No. I would like them to do something with him. Here's another thing. And we just touched on it briefly, but like, as far as Andrade not being able to get over, I think one of the things is let motherfuckers speak their own language. You have a translator there. I love that. Who is it? Alex Abrahantes will translate for Penta and Phoenix, and they'll do, a little bit of both. Penta and Phoenix will do a little bit of English here and there, but like, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Have a translator, I loved in WWE when they let Asuka just like scream in Japanese. I had no idea what she was saying, but it sounded cool and it sounded intimidating.
Well, it also sounds authentic to them. Like just let them have their.
Yes.
I'm full belief that everyone should feel comfortable in their own heritage and their own nationality and their own. Let's just let them do them.
And just for the sake of putting on a better show. It feels more authentic. We've talked about this constantly. It's going to be a topic that I don't think we're ever going to stop talking about until they really nail it. Is like authenticity is what people want more than anything, I think.
Yes.
And it's what drove, especially the AEW fans, what drove a lot of them away from WWE. Is it felt inauthentic. Everything was micromanaged. Everything felt forced in those years leading up to when AEW started.
I know this is going to be a whole bunch of different tangents. But
This really is.
but because this whole thing sparked me of a lot of things that pissed me off. One of the things I kind of just thought of just now, because I remember the conversation that we had, and I'm sorry, I'm all pissed off this whole entire thing. I've been trying so hard to be positive, but
I'm as mad as hell.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Do you remember when we were like trying to figure out like what was missing and blah blah blah, and how like the first 2 years was really good and this and that? I remember us talking a year ago saying, you know what's really cool is that they have something for everybody. They have it where, yes, I'm not into the whole blood and gory type matches and whatever, but they would have that, and then they would have the whole each match was just like something for everyone. They had the whole athletic ones. They had the whole high flying jumping type matches. Then they had the brawler type. Like it was just something. Each match was different. It felt different.
And then they'd have like one of those slow build matches with a lot of selling.
it was a lot of different styles in one
Yeah.
show. Now I feel like it's molded into everything is almost the same. Does that make sense? Where like, it doesn't feel a lot different anymore. Like it feels like there's a lot of the same type of matches, a lot of the because like they took out the blood and gore and this and that. They took out a distance, you know, they took out all these different things. But even like the
Yeah.
promos and everything sounds. I'm not saying it's all the same, but like to the T, but it sounds very similar to the next thing that comes on. And it doesn't seem before I felt like everything was distinct.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like this match, but I love this match, and then this match, but like I knew why people would like this match. And does that make sense? Like I feel
Yeah.
like
Makes a lot of sense. And like, I mean, to try to make it relevant to what we're, you know, what our topic is, you have somebody like Andrade who wants to like get the hell out of there, go back to WWE. I think for him, it's like, what's the difference for me right now to be here or to be in WWE? Even if you know, if he thought he would get a better push from Triple H, which he probably would because of the push he got in NXT under him. Regardless of that, it's like, you're not part of anything different. Might as well be with your wife.
yeah,
Like you know, the incentive to be in AEW was to be part of something new and be part of something where like they are changing. What was it? Change the world was their whole shtick in the beginning. And now it's just like, be a kind of, you know, Xerox copy, third generation copy of WWE. Like they're just drifting closer and closer to being budget WWE.
yeah,
It just, the booking is more WWE, everything about it, the sports entertainingness of it, and you know, the way that the wrestlers are being treated. Not that they're being treated necessarily poorly, but like it just doesn't feel like it did in the beginning, where it was like this paradise. Wrestlers can come here and be treated the way they wanted to be treated, you know? And that might have had a lot to do with Cody.
I think it's
Something we haven't talked about, like what was the effect of Cody leaving? If Cody was still there, would Andrade be as disgruntled as he is? Because would he be getting treated differently? You know, it's just like no longer do wrestlers feel like they're part of something. It's just the same thing on a different network with fewer viewers.
I think that, I mean, some people are very happy there, but I think hopefully it's still time before all the other people are gone. I just think that seeing all this shit, I don't want to get too far off from the Andrade and Sammy thing, but it just includes it all of what we've been saying. It includes that there's something different in the past. What's it called? Past year, that they have to really get their shit together, because they have to have a month with nothing. That's just my main goal with them. Like, have a month with no fucking drama between these people. Have them say, just shut the fuck up for 1 month. Let's just have 1 month, please.
Short-term goals.
Short-term goals. And if we get past 1 month, then let's try 2 months, you know, and keep on going.
Listen, this is all right. This is an open message to Tony Khan. Tony, Richie's mental health is at stake here. He's gonna.
There's a lot more at stake than that.
His blood pressure is too high. He can't handle this. We need your help.
I'm already been going crazy with life in general, but then when you all of a sudden, when you're crazy with life, and then you say, "Hey, the one enjoyment that I have is fucking wrestling," and then you go, "My God, they can't shut the fuck up," and then you go, "That, like, we can't even have that. Like, we can't have that. Like, we have nothing else in life, but now we have to fucking listen to these two fucking assholes going back and forth saying, you're just making AEW look like shit once again." Thank you, everyone. And it's gonna be a ricochet with other motherfuckers coming in and saying, "Oh, you know what? This person did this too. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up." 1 month. That's what I want. This podcast is called 1 month.
It's also like, you have to like. My perspective on this, I mean, it's weird because you almost feel like you want to say, like, oh, you guys are still fucking wrestlers. You're on TV, you make a ton of money, and you get to be wrestlers. But it's always going to be tricky when there's like something creative involved, right? It's easy to just go to your job It's not easy to go to your job. It sucks to go to your job most
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
time.
you're talking to the wrong fucking. I just quit my fucking job.
And I just made a weird noise. But you know, like when it really gets personal when like you're putting so much of yourself into it, right?
Mm.
It seems for us to stand outside and say, "Oh, you're so spoiled. Just do your job. You're lucky to have this job." But I understand, even like shitty little jobs I've had, like anytime and times when I've had to manage people too. As soon as somebody has something that they feel invested in, like emotionally invested in, like anything creative, then that's when things start to get tense. And wrestling is all of that, right? All these people are putting their creativity into every match and every promo, and they want to showcase what they can do, and they feel stifled when they can't, you know, or when they have to do it on somebody else's terms, or they have to, you know, whatever it is that makes it feel like there's an impasse, like them expressing themselves. You're going to get more emotions involved, and that's when this kind of stuff is going to happen. That's hard to manage in Tony Khan's defense, but like, motherfucker, you got involved in this. This was nobody told you to start your own wrestling promotion. I have a feeling somebody else would have done it if he didn't. It was ripe for the picking. Something new had to happen at that time.
Well, that asshole always keeps on saying I have more money than all these people, so he doesn't really give a fuck. But you're going to when you look like a laughing stock,
dude.
Like
if I know that's another podcast. I can't get into it. Anyway, listen.
1 month.
1 month. I'm gonna finish this whiskey. I'm gonna chill. I'm not gonna watch any wrestling.
That's because we can't. Oh wait, we can watch Dark.
I'm not watching Dark.
We are not doing a podcast on Dark.
I did. I watched. I put on Dark yesterday for the first time in a long time because I just like I stopped. I was watching every minute of everything that they did for a long time. And I know it was a little bit much, and then they added Dark Elevation, and then whatever. I mean, but last night I'm like, I saw Danhausen was on, so I'm like, all right, let me see what Danhausen does. So I kind of like watched a little bit, zip through it, watched a little bit, zip through it, and
was he anything good?
It was fine. Dark is always going to be dark. There have been a couple of episodes that were like, wow, this is a good one, but very few of them.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? They're bringing a lot of the good ones that they had in Dark on TV now because they have fucking 7-8 people that's on suspension. So
right.
We have to get is Deeb still on Dark?
I don't know. Well, that was part of the appeal too. Like I wanted to see everything everybody was doing. So when Serena Deeb was put on Rampage or Dynamite, like I had a better feel of like where she was coming from. This wasn't some person that just pulled out of nowhere for me because I was following her on Dark. So like it meant more to me than maybe somebody who doesn't watch it. And also to see all the people that they're bringing in here and there. Like they had, who was it, Ben Carter a few years ago, and he was killing it until WWE signed him. So like I want to see the up and comers. I want to see the people that they're bringing in for like, you know, sort of one-offs, and if they stick around. It was a couple of locals that were on it that was really cool for me to see. Brosif Joe Brody, is that his name? I forget. Hood Slam guy.
Oh yeah.
Hood Slam is based in Oakland, and he was on a couple of episodes of Dark, and that was awesome because I love that guy, and he was so much fun to see in local shows when I got to see him. Levi Shapiro was another one who was like a local guy who I got to see on Dark. So like that kind of stuff is really cool. But you know, I'm burnt out on it now, and like AEW isn't making me happy enough on a regular basis for me to put extra time into it, you know?
Yeah, like I still have hope with the Wednesdays and Fridays because they're trying to get obviously ratings. They're trying to get the networks. I'm sure that the reason why they put and I know this is all tangents all over the place, but it stems from the same thing of Sammy and Andrade. But I know they put the belt on Jericho to hope maybe get some kind of show going on for Ring of Honor that could help having some people go, and then maybe you could concentrate more people on that. But then
Ring, like, don't do this with Ring of Honor.
Yes, yeah, you can't
bring Jericho over there. He's a solid guy you can work around, but like already, like I don't know much about the situation, but apparently Brian Cage is a bit of like a backstage like difficulty, doesn't get along with everybody. So like,
he's fighting Wardlow too. Wardlow,
Yeah,
whatever the fuck his
that's
name is. That's gonna be
bathroom
fun.
break. 100%
So,
bathroom break. I
Well,
don't-
when we do that, when we do that review, that would be like, well, there you
Yeah.
go. Here's the winner by. But I will say,
Say it.
I think the major thing that they need to fix, and I think this will work with them, is
Banana.
Not enough bagels. More bagels and catering.
I was gonna say you could keep this in there if you want. I was gonna say you should like put one of your sample clips after I say is, so it doesn't even say anything.
Ah, I don't know. I have to. That's more work. You're giving me work. Why are you giving
Listen,
me homework?
You love putting the fucking sample clips anyway, so
I
do
do.
that one.
I do. But anyway, I mean, we managed to make this what could have been a 10-minute episode.
No, I really do think you should stop it there.
30 or 40-minute
I thi-
episode.
I think you should stop it there.
You
when
should
I said
stop it there.